Thank you so much for clicking on the video, and as always, if you are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and your bell so that you're notified every single time when I have something awesome for you guys. My first time ever riding in a police car at the age of 7. Hey, Lord have mercy.
But you the blessed fine bobo with fine wifey and fine baby. You the blessed me all the rest of the day.
A story time is long overdue on my channel, and I figured what a perfect time to bring one. It's back to school season. Let me share my little own experience with you guys. This story kind of goes back to when I was a second grader. So it was, gosh, I think 2005. Wow. Backtrack a little bit. Let me give you a little bit more info so you know where this is going. When I was 7, we moved to America for the first time. My dad was already here, but me, my mom, and my siblings moved here as well. Another side note, if you don't know anything about me, I am Ghanaian and Togolese, but I was born in the capital Togo, which is called Lomé. In Togo, the primary language is French. Then they have other small languages, but it's mainly French. So I schooled there for the 7 years of my life, and I spoke French. Now, moving to America was a whole different scenario, and learning a whole different language that I actually didn't speak before was quite traumatic. Now let's get into the story. So my middle sister and I actually started this elementary school. I started the 2nd grade, and she was in the, I think she was in the 5th grade. My first day at that school was a little bit scary because, again, people were speaking a language that I didn't understand. I mean, my dad was the only person who could translate, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I walked into the class, and I actually remember the 2nd grade teacher coming to the door to greet me. I don't know what she was saying. And when my parents were getting ready to leave me at the door, I remember bawling my eyes out. I remember bawling my eyes out because this was so different. This was so new to me. And I don't know what was going on in my 7-year-old head, but I just knew that I was not ready. Moving from one country to the next, not knowing people, not knowing the language, not, trying to make new friends, starting over as a whole. It was day 2. I just remember at the time we were living in some apartment, and so it was far enough that I could ride the bus home. So me and my sister would take the bus, the school bus, and they would drop us at the house. Here's the problem. I was walking in the hallway and the bell had rung. I got confused. Again, remember, I don't speak English. I don't know this place. This is my 2nd day here. I panicked. I don't think I understood what was going on. Like, I don't know why everybody was rushing out different doors, and I just panicked. So I followed the crowd. Later, I found out that that door was actually the walker's door. I was not a walker. I was a busser. So I walk out the door because I'm like, I don't see buses. I see a sidewalk. Okay, what's going on? I don't think this is the right door. On the other side, my sister had obviously gotten to the bus looking for me. Where is this girl? Of course, I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out because I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. I'm confused. I'm in a whole different world. Here's the funny part. My dad had mentioned something about, he had the kidnap talk with us. Be careful. Like, when you get outside of school, just make sure you come straight home. We were still small, so it's very important that people have this conversation with their children because kidnapping is real. In my mind, I was lost at this point. Anytime I would see somebody, like a grown person walking by, I would stop crying because I was afraid that they might kidnap me. I obviously understood it way out of proportion, but that was what was going on in my mind. And at this point, I get to the lady that helps the kids cross the road, like they usually have on that like lime green, whatever. Anyway, so she was helping the walkers cross the road, and I walked up to her and I stood right there. I had my backpack on. Now I can cry. So I started bawling my eyes out. I'm sure she was asking me a whole bunch of different things that I couldn't answer because I didn't know what she was saying. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I can't describe what it sounded to me. It sounded like to me at the time because I didn't understand. Gibberish. Question is, how does the police get involved? Well, at this point, God is amazing, you guys. God is really something else. Because the day before we started school, my dad had purchased, the three of us, a little notepad. This one was mine. Some, what were they called? Gosh, are these Bratz dolls or whatever? And a few pages to the back of this little notepad, everything was written here. My name was written here. Where my dad worked at the time was written here. It makes me teary thinking about it because it's just amazing how many parents would think about buying their children one of these, putting information in it in case of emergency. Never, ever, ever, ever know. You never know. So at the time when I got to the lady and I finished doing a crying session, I pulled this out, I handed it to her, and I just pointed because, again, I could not communicate. I pointed. So by now she figured out that I was lost. She figured it out that I was lost, and she knew that I was from the Madison school. And so she went and called the music teacher, the art teacher, because they had met my parents already, and especially the art teacher, she spoke a little bit of French, so I got along with her well. And so they called them, and I just remember them running, and they hugged me, and I felt that I was safe. I felt safe at this point. I knew I wasn't going to be kidnapped. I knew I wasn't going to get lost. And so I remember the police officer that was working with their school at the time, because every school usually has, a cop that works with the school. And they had her drive me to my address. And that was the first time I ever rode in a cop's car. And when I got home, obviously, everyone was very happy that I was home. I was very happy that I was home. And I never, ever, ever, ever forget this this incident. It truly is one of the biggest events in my life after moving to a whole different country. And will never throw this away, because this always reminds me of moving to America. After that situation, this became my doodling book. I used to always doodle and draw things in it. I used to love drawing. And I used to even practice my English words in here. I found one of the pages in here when I was learning to write sentences in English, and I wrote, "This is mom," like M-A-M. I meant to write mom like M-O-M. This is dad. I got that one right. This is sisters. This is my family. That would conclude my story time. Again, I figured what a better opportunity. It's back to school time, bringing a little awareness to parents. So parents who are moving across the world, please be careful, and please definitely, I really encourage every parent to put one of these in their child's bag. I know backpacks come with those little name things, but sometimes those get taken out. Sometimes kids lose them. Put a little notepad in their bag. Honestly, I highly encourage it. I really, really do. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. This one was an emotional session for me, and I wasn't trying to get like that, but this really took me back. It really, really did. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. If you guys want more story times, give this one a thumbs up. If it reaches 40 thumbs up, maybe I'll do another story time coming here soon. And again, as always, I will see you on the next one. Bye.